All right, so it looks like we have our dream team assembled from the Universal Ranger Support Alliance. So the Universal Ranger Support Alliance, or URSA, was launched in July 2020 as a collaborative initiative of 8 conservation organizations who have come together to support rangers globally. So we all know that nature is so important, supporting all of life on Earth, food, water, mitigating things like climate change. But we also know that nature is under attack due to our actions. And so we have rangers as frontline workers who are protecting not only natural, but also our cultural heritage, which is disappearing as well. So I'm going to introduce Olga Vargas. She is a program manager with the Universal Ranger Support Alliance. I'm going to bring her into the event right now to say hi. There we go. Hi, Olga. How you doing?
Hi, Joe. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having us here, and thank you for opening this amazing event for URSA.
Of course, of course. I'm excited to be, a bit of a fly on the wall and hear some of the conversations, with so many people joining around the world. So this is a great experience for me. So why don't I let you take over for a little bit, and I'll kind of pull a few strings from behind the scenes.
Yeah, thanks. So, as Joe said, I'm Olga Viegus. I'm Universal Ranger Support Alliance, and very much we're gonna introduce in a while. We're gonna introduce a few of our speakers. So, and then we're going to have a little panel discussion, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how you can join URSA, because you can join URSA if you're a ranger organization. So without the further ado, please welcome Chris Galliers, the president of International Rangers Federation, who will tell us more about URSA, but also welcome you all to this event.
Thank you, Olga, and a big thank you to Joe. Joe, if after 8 hours, if I was there, I'd give you a cup of coffee. I'm sure you need it. So really a great job. This has been phenomenal, listening to all the experiences and also the sort of excitement from the Rangers sharing their positive experiences as well. This is World Ranger Day, and there's lots to celebrate and lots to also just reflect on as well. Each organization around the world is hopefully doing that, and the Rangers themselves celebrating the amazing work that they're doing. As you said in the introduction, URSA was sort of born out of the World Ranger Congress that was held in Nepal in 2019. Out of that Congress, we came out with the Chitwan Declaration, and it was through that declaration which identified many action points that emerged from the Congress, the 5-day Congress, which had over 550 rangers participating, nearly 80 countries represented. So it was a coming together of ranger minds from around the world that fed into that declaration, which was so important. Out of that declaration, we recognized there was so much to do, and as a result of that, there's no way that, certainly an organization such as the International Ranger Federation, which has limited capacity in itself, could ever achieve all the action points. As a result, URSA was born, and the need for getting so many organizations who are doing so much around the world is to try and get a more coordinated approach with the limited resources that there are for rangers, so that we can do more for rangers on the ground who, at the end of the day, deserve so much more. As has been pointed out through the day that you've had, sharing all the insights into the challenges that rangers face and the work that they do. We need to do more, certainly if we want to achieve these global targets that are being set. So as such, we are really excited about this, the Universal Ranger Support Alliance, URSA, and the 8 founding members. A big thank you to everyone who's been involved in bringing it to this point, where we have recently launched the action plan, and more will follow on that. But also now opening up the opportunity for more organizations to join URSA as well. So a big thank you to everyone, and we look forward to this great discussion introducing people to URSA who can now come on board and participate and support rangers globally.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for this welcome. So now, before we actually jump into the nitty-gritty and details, I want to show you two videos that we produced together with one of the member organizations called Rewild. The videos are accessible at their YouTube channel and the website. So Joe, please fire up.
Picture a wildlife ranger. It's likely no two people will imagine the same thing, as there is no one definition or job description of a ranger. Their profession is little understood, yet these brave conservation professionals are the backbone of global biodiversity management and protection, making them indispensable to the very essence of life on Earth. They are called wildlife wardens, forest guards, scouts, and watchers. They come from small villages and big cities. Rangers are diverse in ethnicity and gender. They work in government positions and private roles. They are indigenous peoples and multicultural guardians. They are found in urban parks, local communities, and remote areas, protecting our lands, freshwater ecosystems, and oceans. Rangers are vital to communities, countries, and our future, protecting our planet and ensuring that every person has access to wild spaces and global resources. Given their essential roles in preserving biodiversity through the protection of valuable life support systems and ecosystem services, the ranger sector should be well-staffed and rangers well-respected and acknowledged. More than 7,000 rangers from 465 sites across 28 countries have shared their successes, the world what they need. They need your support for more resources. If we work together to remove obstacles and dismantle inequities, to ensure that natural resources are adequately protected for those that depend on them, we will greatly improve the overall impact of rangers. Our world needs them, and they need allies and advocates. We must prioritize and value rangers so they receive the honor and recognition they deserve. Support rangers, support our planet, and join the global Rangers Deserve More movement. Firefighters, teachers, police officers, first responders, all are professions worthy of support and honor. We invest in them for our collective health and safety. Rangers are tasked with the same duties, and they're responsible for safeguarding the systems upon which our entire planet depends. We need to invest in rangers like we do other frontline professionals. The Universal Ranger Support Alliance is bringing together an international coalition of conservation organizations to advocate for a global ranger action plan. It will help all rangers, ensuring that urgently needed tools, reforms, and policy changes reach them. Invest in rangers to protect natural resources, to help grow sustainable national economies, to strengthen communities, to ensure equality and equity in the ranger sector, and to secure the health of our planet. If we invest in rangers, the economic outcomes would be dramatic. The global GDP could rise by $490 billion per year. In 2018, the travel and tourism sector supported 319 million jobs, 10% of total employment, and generated 10.4% of global GDP. Rangers directly support tourism, protecting habitats, teaching park visitors, monitoring species, and responding to emergencies in remote areas. Rangers protect the places that give us clean air, water, food, fertile soil, medicines, and a stable climate. The ranger profession needs to be recognized by the International Labor Organization as an occupation. Rangers are working together to facilitate sufficient training, social safeguards, appropriate equipment, and a guarantee that their teams will have adequate staff to do their work safely and effectively. professionalize and support rangers, and the return on investment will be high. It now falls on governments, other ranger employers, and their partners to answer the call. Join the global Rangers Deserve More movement.
All right. Thank you. So these are only 2 of 5 videos that we produced to introduce URSA and Rangers cause to world. And now we're gonna have a little presentation from Chris Gordon, chair of the Universal Ranger Support Alliance, who will tell us more about URSA and about the ways URSA is trying to change the situation of rangers for the better. Chris?
Hi, Olga. Thanks, Joe, so much for having me. Again, it's been such a great event and great to be here. I'd like to just spend a few minutes just talking a bit more about URSA and about some of the sort of key actions that we've identified. As Chris introduced at the start, there are 8 founding members to the Universal Ranger Support Alliance. And really, it was born out of the call that was made by the Ranger community at the 2019 9th World Ranger Congress held in Chitwan, Nepal. And that Chitwan Declaration kind of really highlighted some of the needs and priorities for Rangers, including Ranger welfare, relationships with communities, the need to address some of the inequities and inequalities faced by Rangers, particularly Indigenous Rangers and female Rangers, the need to address capacity and to support Ranger associations. As Chris mentioned, the Chitwan Declaration called for international support and cooperation. And as a response to that, URSA was born in 2020. We've just completed the first action plan. It's a really ambitious 5-year action plan to support the implementation of the Chitwan Declaration, to help address some of those identified sort of needs that were identified by the Ranger community themselves. And so I'm just going to briefly talk through the action plan. URSA has this vision to have a network of well-supported, professionally competent, mandated, motivated, responsible, and representative Rangers working effectively as custodians of biodiversity and the life systems upon which we all depend. So, you know, we really want to ensure that the Ranger community are given the necessary tools, given the recognition, the respect for the amazing work that they all do globally. And the action plan has sort of really outlined 5 kind of core objectives. The first of which is around advocacy and representation. You know, as that phenomenal video just described, you know, the International Labour Organization doesn't even recognize Rangers as a profession globally. You know, one of URSA's kind of objectives is to ensure that the Ranger profession is recognized both internationally, but also at a national level. There are many Ranger groups where nationally they are not recognized as well. But also just to increase the recognition for the sector. And events like this today play a really important role in helping to highlight the important work that Rangers do and linking Rangers to nature and the role that nature plays for all of us. So yeah, our first objective is really around advocacy and representation, you know, building a network of Rangers that are connected and that are respected. The second objective is around capacity and developing the Ranger sector capacity, understanding the kind of competency needs that Rangers require, and obviously recognizing that Rangers in different areas have different roles. So, you know, building capacity for the Rangers to be able to perform the roles that are that are related to their job in the place where they are working, but also building capacity for ranger employers as well. It's not just about focusing on developing competencies of the ranger workforce, but also of their managers and of the employers that are employing rangers globally. The third objective is really around employment and welfare. And, you know, it's ensuring that rangers have the right conditions to work within, making sure that they have their welfare looked after, that employers are looking after and taking care of their ranger workforce. And so URSA would really like to see a global minimum standard prepared for employment and welfare, and that these are increasingly adopted so that, you know, rangers around the world are operating within at least that minimum standard, but hopefully beyond that minimum standard. The fourth objective that our action plan has really set out is around equality and equity, and trying to address some of the inequalities that the ranger workforce faces, and ensuring that rangers you know, have their rights looked after and respected, ensuring that rangers aren't discriminated against, whether we're talking about gender, race, sex, religion, and many more things, making sure that rangers have equal opportunities, fair treatment, and equitable working environments. And the fifth objective is really around community relations and conduct and accountability, and ensuring that there's a framework of working practices and ethics and conduct that builds trust with communities and with the public, and promotes rangers to work in a responsible and accountable manner. As an example from this final objective, we've just completed the development of the Global Code of Conduct for Rangers. This was a sort of participatory process where we had 1,800 rangers from 70 countries around the world helping to feed in and develop a global code of conduct, which will provide a template for ranger groups, rangers around the world to adopt and adapt their local scenario. So we've got, yeah, as I said, it's a really ambitious work plan ahead of us. That at the moment, URSA has the 8 founding members, but you know, we're really hoping that we can attract many people to come and join the Alliance and to support us, and that we can work together, because we strongly believe that there is strength in numbers, and that we can achieve a lot more together. So please, if you are interested to find out more about URSA, visit the website, ursaforrangers.org. The 4 is a number 4, ursaforrangers.org. I think Joe will probably put it up on the screen at some stage. Yeah, please come and join us, find out about how you join, get in contact with Olga. She can give you the details of the different tiers that we have for members, partners, and supporters. And hopefully together we can support the Ranger community to really deliver on the phenomenal work that they do, and to ensure that they have the tools and support to keep on protecting our natural and cultural heritage. So thanks very much, Joe, again, for the opportunity today, and I'll hand back to Olga.
Thank you, Chris. That was really a condensed version of what we normally talk about when we talk about URSA, but it's enough to make sure that we are heard. So I'll talk a little bit more about how you can join URSA in the last minutes of this presentation, of the session. And now I would like to present Monica Alvarez from International Ranger Organization, who will open the panel session and ask our great panelists about the Ranger practicalities and work on the ground. Monica? Monica?
Hey, Monica was here just a moment ago, but she disappeared. So I'm wondering if maybe, oh, there she is.
Sorry. Hello.
Hi.
We start now, right? Sorry, I just lost my internet for a second, but came back.
Okay, it happens. All right, but so I was just saying, it's time for our panel, and if you don't mind, please introduce our panelists.
Of course. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Happy World Ranger Day. My name is Monica Alvarez, Development Officer at the International Ranger Federation, and I have the honor today of facilitating this panel with awesome panelists from around the world. Today, we remember and honor all the fallen Rangers in the line of duty and also celebrate all those Rangers who are working to protect our planet. So, our first panelist would be Nicorin Jiga Nua from Cameroon. She has been an eco guard for 11 years and currently serves in the Jaris Biosphere Reserve. She's a senior forestry technician, currently the assistant chief of the Western sector, and chief of the unit of administration and finance for the Biosphere Reserve she works at. She started a career in wildlife conservation because of her passion to protect wildlife, and over the years, she has contributed to the preservation of the rich biodiversity of our country. Nicorin, thank you for being here. I'm going to share our first question, and you'll have 5 minutes to respond. Well, as you know, community engagement is a critical role for rangers to fulfill their duties. Could you share with us from your experience what are the means that the EcoGuards use to sensitize local communities about conservation issues and the importance of sustainable use of natural resources? And also maybe share with us, in your opinion, what are the key aspects to develop trust between rangers and communities that it's so important. Thank you. Oh, we can hear you, Nicorin. Could you put your mic on?
Are we together?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Are we
Perfect.
together? Okay. As a ranger, it's really a difficult task working with the local community because they've got a real stereotyped mind, especially as far as bushmeat it is concerned. So just you getting up one morning and coming to tell these people, stop eating bushmeat because that will be a poaching crime against wildlife that can lead you to imprisonment. So the way we try to sensitize this our local community population, we go gradually. It's true we pass through the media. We use the media means like the local radio stations that exist within the Jar Wildlife Reserve. Like in Meyomasala, we've got the Otete radio station. Like in June, we have got the Aquafem. So we tell these people, look, we are not here to stop you completely consuming bushmeat, but just know that killing of these animals is a very grievous crime against the wildlife community. So please, if you can understand with us, to look for a means of trying to make you people survive without really killing these animals. We lead them to, we know that this community, they have other alternative activities, but they don't really invest in these activities because they don't find their day-to-day life meeting objectives. So we like make them to understand that the more they concentrate on these alternative activities, the more they find their villages open up not only the community, not only to the local population, but to the entire community. We carry them like we carry out educative talks on the ills of poaching. We equally carry out educative talks as far as their health status is concerned, because the issue of manipulating wildlife products is not just given to anybody. Your health is at stake. So try to know and protect yourself. While protecting the animals, you also yourself, because we hear of epidemics outbreak like the Ebola and all whatnot. Look at the COVID-19 that has come a long way to stopping most of our activities. So we equally make them to a role to play as far as conservation is. They should not just be killing and eating our animals, but they should try and protect these animals. Like their bushfires, when they go out to destroy some parcels of the forest for their farmlands, we make them to know that just the fact that you destroy that particular portion of the forest, you have already destroyed an ecosystem which harbors a great number
wildlife and floral species like animals and trees. They have to cohabit because each person has got a great role to play as far as conservation and the protection of our environment is concerned. We equally go to leading them to form some small common initiative groups and community groups as well, for them to like get some initiatives of say they want to carry out the rearing of the poultry farming, let's say. So they can go together to maybe like practice pisciculture, aquaculture, and even honey farming, because some of the communities are really rich. They have those rich potential in such resources, like a legal means, a way conducive way of trying to like valorize the various resources that we've got in the Jar Reserve by not destroying completely our natural resources, because that is a whole patrimony that they ignore, and they don't know that the future generation will need to have a glimpse, and why not a taste of these natural resources. So to an extent, convince most of them to like practice income generating activities like agriculture, pisciculture, as I aforementioned. Some amongst, especially the Baka community, the pygmies, they have come to realize the fact that poaching is against humanity. We consider these animals as part of us. That's why when you hear of a man and animal conflict, it concerns the whole community. So we try to see into how to incorporate these local communities, the indigenous people especially. Most of them have agreed to become local informants in case poachers are around the community. Is that not a great job that the rangers are doing within their community? Because the Baka community, the pygmies are well renowned for the killing of animals. Especially look at an elephant, but it takes no time for a pygmy to put down that elephant within 5 minutes. Just imagine his potential. So they get to understand the importance, and knowing well that that crime can lead you to prison. They don't have the means to follow up whatsoever the case might be. Even let's say if they are being fined just 100,000, is a whole lot for a pygmy. So you try to understand. We make most of them our Baka, the Baka community as our informants, and it is really working nowadays. Of late, it is really working. Most often, we receive information from these guys telling us that a group of poachers have entered there at this particular point, capacity building workshops. We get few of them amongst us, and who are trying to like really capture the domain. So some can even operate the go right up to the extent of operating the GPS as well as the compass. It orientates you into the forest. Their orientation was not. They have the map of the entire reserve in their minds. They can just take you to a particular destination without looking into a map or use any tool. But nowadays we try to like bring them closer and closer every day, so that they should at least emancipate from their local lifestyles and try to become something in their community. So they have tried to form some small community associations that permits them to like exercise in some small activities that would generate income, because we like thought of if you have to tell them that join or fight against poaching, just like that, or conservation, they don't really find their own interest there because they gain nothing. It's only when maybe rangers come across them around the communities, they can offer them some small food, drinks, and all whatnot. Those are just their basic necessities. But try to lead them, though. It is usually said that do not give someone fish to try to teach him how to catch his own fish. So that's a very marvelous job I think the rangers are doing. They are also most of these Baka community members, coupled with the Bantu, assist us during our field missions, like carriers of our luggages. But just being carriers is not a day's job, because you can imagine they load all our food, our packs. They carry and they take us along, even our sleeping tents as well. Just imagine the role they play. So we are not like trying to exploit them, but we are trying to like make them understand the difficulties in life and how to meet up with their life exigencies. You might not just sit in the village and think that manners will come from heaven. So they are trying to lead their other brothers understand that it takes a lot of courage to carry to do the fight in conservation, the fight against poaching. So they are part of us. We are with them together. We are going to do. And we hope that better days, because they are expecting much from us. They keep asking us, Madam, Madam, as we are doing like this, I hope you. They are anonymous. We will never betray them. We will never betray their identity to the community. We really are using these people, and they are really furnishing us with information. The only difficulty we've got is that the base is a bit further from the forest, so it takes us a bit of time to be able to catch up with these poachers. But most often, we succeed in laying hands on some of these poachers. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be back again.
And for I mean, reminding us the diverse roles the Rangers play. You mentioned that you not only protect, but you also negotiate and sort of sense it, how do you get closer to the community, respect their identity, and try to figure the solution out together. So thank you for sharing all those experiences with us. We'll come back to you for a next question. Now we're going to go to the other side of the world with our second panelist, that is Christian Robles Pucci, president of the National Ranger Association of Costa Rica, and member of the Latin America Ranger Federation as well. He has 28 of experience, of which 22 have been as a ranger, another 6 as volunteer of ranger. He's currently in charge of the research department in the turtle conservation area in the Sistema Nacional de Áreas de Conservación de Costa Rica, which is a state agency for protected areas. Christian, bienvenido. Thank you for being here today with us in the early morning. Here's a question for you that you'll have also 5 minutes to respond, and then we'll come back for another question. As you know, one of the 5 objectives of ORSA that Chris Gordon pointed out is that by 2025, we get a global minimum standards for ranger employment and welfare are developed and increasingly adopted nationally and internationally for well-being. Could you share with us why you think this is important for rangers and is in their day-to-day basis? And also, why do you think standards for welfare environment are necessary for rangers to really fulfill their job in their full potential? Thank you, Christian.
Okay, thank you, and thanks to all. I'm glad to be here. I'm very, very excited to belong to this big family as a ranger. Well, please, first of all, we need to remember that the rangers and volunteer staff are integral beings, not just as a set. As you know, some governments thinks that we are just some kind of a set, and this asset is it could be terminated, and when dissolved, just take it out of this card. All conservation personnel need security standards for all different perspectives and from various angles. Previously, in 1980, in 2018, in Latin American Rangers, we had a meeting in Ecuador, Los Baños de Agua Santa, where 12 countries of Latin American associates participate, and all of us become agreed in the importance of occupational and well-being conditions and health as a priority to taking care in our countries. We create these roundtables, and we chat each other to try to figure out a way to take care as the first line to resolve a final solution, because this issue affect directly the rangers on their hearts. The job stability is the main thing that we must have in our lives, because this gives us security and good well in all the different angles. In this document that we wrote, uh, we found and we tried to understand what's the best, the most effective, the most qualified word to show and what it means to the Rangers. And this one was the dignity. If you have your secure your labor time, you have your work for living as well, you will have dignity. If you're a stable ranger, you always will be working good, and recognizing this job is great. For unfortunately, all countries around in Latin America, this little this big word, dignity and stable work, is not part of the vocabulary of the politics. Unfortunately, some people from Latin American Rangers are not stable and always are threatened their jobs day by day for different threats, like government change, different uh, persons move on, and if sometimes take these positions for their friends, and this is not a good thing for Rangers. Um, the job stability weakens and fatigue the worker conscious, sometimes even falling into depressed and dark pit, losing his honor, even persuaded by the corruption and distress of his position. It's very hard for us to sometimes to train to another institutions and to know that no one knows what is a ranger, what a ranger does, and that's one of the things that we need to work in out. Um, in the same way, the physiological depression and stress of the all the rangers are involved and are in their jobs. Sometimes far from family for 22 and a month, out of his family, press themselves and sometimes get them depressed until they kill themselves. We are not just taking losing our rangers, as you know, uh, taking our rangers. Sorry for audio. Um, just for they they have no stability, labor stability, and also they are far from home. So as you know, everything depressed and get give them stress on it. So sometimes they kill themselves and become in distract in this. They have no distractions. They have no time, and just as I said, they are working just like an asset. So this all this pressure kill just the professional as every time, every day, every moment, and we need to take care of it. Ursa will become a great solution for this. I give a big step forward for this, given our goal to achieve in 2025 and to support this ranger and take care of these little items, these big items and things to concern about it. That's my question. That's my result.
Thank you so much, Christian. We'll come back to you, but thank you for raising all those important issues of the pressure, right, and the risks that rangers face into day-to-day basis. It's so very we take it very seriously. So thank you for raising those issues to the audience. Now we'll go with our third panelist, that it's Ranger Mr. Bunty Tao. Bunty has been working as a range forest officer at the government of Arunachal, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Pradesh, India since last 30 years. He's represented India in the World Ranger Congress in 2019 Nepal and belongs to the Niyishi tribe, the largest tribal community of Arunachal Pradesh. Again, sorry if I say that a bit wrong, Punti. Residing in Eastern Himalayas, bordering Tibet and China. So, Bunti, thank you for being here with us today. Being both an indigenous and a state ranger, what do you find yourself in a I mean, do you find yourself in a difficult situation sometimes in terms of implementing policies while maintaining your cultural values, like those two things together? Could you share with us maybe from your insight and maybe give us an example of this to understand? Thank you, Monty.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm Banti Tao. My name is Banti Tao. Yeah. Uh, uh, Really, it's a very tough job for us. As I am the first generation ranger from our community, and then my parents are totally illiterate, and they are in a tribal state. And when I entered into the job, I have to work in such a manner that to keep the aspiration of my parents, and to implement the law of uh, law of the government as per Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 in India. It's in the place, and in implementing those laws, I find many conflicting things. Even the villagers and my parents and our tribesmen, they are basically a hunter tribe, and till today everything they have depended the protein content from the forest, and they kill the animals for food, but poaching was unheard of it. They never poached, they never traded animal wildlife, but whatever they killed, they killed it for survivals. Now I being a link between the government laws and tribal culture, I have to tell them that uh, how the environment can save our culture, how a species of an animal uh, can save our culture. For example, uh, I can show you this one. This one is a hornbill beaks, but due to low population of hornbill, now it is a replica. It is made of wood now. It's not original one. It's a wood made of wood because of uh, less population of hornbills. So we have to adopt this one as a replica. And this is a racket-tailed drongo, and this is a feather of an eagle, and this is also a replica, but it is supposed to be the skin of the bear, like that. So, and suppose they are supposed to be a eagle's claw, so they wear like this. They wear like this.
Wow, it's beautiful.
So, so we discuss with the village people that these if these animals were extinct, we cannot keep our traditional culture, because no culture exist existed without these animals. So it's a very tough job for us, and I am a bridge, I am a link, I am in a transition period. But then the villagers, they want to save it, but they need alternative food, alternative protein supply. One more thing is that we cultivate by slash and burn type, zoom cultivation they call it, slash and burn type. As we are in the Himalayas, our topographical situation is very tough. It's very high peak with less slope areas, plain areas. Always it in the hilly area. We have a tropical forest, subtropical, and to alpine, which is up to 7,500 and 800 meters high mountain ranges are here. So our survival is very tough. But then people are realizing today, due to our efforts and then the government policies, we are trying to educate our people that to survive in the nature, we need to protect those animals, plants, and other. And we tell them that dispersal of seeds are not happening now because there are less birds. People are hunting it, and nowadays due to mechanized arms and ammunitions, they are hunting too much. And in this hour of pandemic, when people are restricted to move freely in the cities, they are moving into the forest and the jungles, and they are trying to collect whatever they are possible, because our life depends on the forest. We live on the foraging, and we tell them we cannot fully control the this hunting, but then we encourage them to uh, hunt by community way, so the tradition. Our tribal culture has more conservation nature. We don't eat tiger, we don't eat elephants, and uh, our people, they don't kill more than one whenever they go for hunting, and they don't kill birds, shoot birds during April, May, when they are we have to convert this knowledge about the wildlife into conservation. Earlier they hunted, but now we want to convert the knowledge of these local tribal knowledge system into conservation, and people are responding it. So it's very tough for us, and Ursa can do great job by giving capacity building trainings and some employments, regular employments to the youth of the areas, so that they can divert their attention from hunting and other things to conservation of the nature. And our people never poach, or they never in the trade, in wildlife trade. It is very much clear that they never trade. We are a believer of nature, and we respect that there is a spirit in every animal, every plant, and every insect which is on the earth, and we respect them. So, but survival and law has a conflict in this line. So we need to work out so that survival of the tribal people to exist along with the conservation of the animals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Banti, and thank you for sharing this link, important link that many rangers in different sides of the world do as indigenous rangers, and the link with the state, with the governments. And sometimes people don't see that. So thank you for sharing your testimony and the importance of the protection for their own culture. And thank you for sharing your traditional hat. And it's very impressive how, I think something you mentioned is the creativity to adapt to the new realities, using the traditional knowledge into the new reality. So thank you for sharing. We just have about 8 minutes, so I'm gonna ask one question more to each one of you. This time it's gonna be shorter. I'm gonna start with Christian. Christian, could you tell us, like, in 1 minute, if you can, what do you think is the potential for ranger associations, as the one you lead in Costa Rica, to assist and promote ranger capacity? As Bunty said, he brought it up. How can URSA support this and the International Ranger Federation dealing with capacity?
Well, I think that the association could help to integrate all the individuals which are rangers in Costa Rica, being part of the solution for many items that we have in our country. As you know, as I said, the government for one side and the park rangers by another. So we're trying to integrate all of this and to try to find solutions of different kind of items that we're taking for. So actually, I hope that this institution become one of the strongest institutions to help and support the rangers as participants, and with the support with alliance like yours and IRF could help us a lot, because we need a lot of some little seeds, as you know, some little company to understand how to make it better every day and how to improve our our profession as a rangers, and starting with the basis with what we are, what we do, and how the people, civilians, and worldwide recognize this green country that we have, and someone just like us, we're taking care of it. And that means, as I said in the great videos that the viewers show us before, big, very nice videos showing what is our real job, what kind of people that we are, and what we can do with this for this world and his nature and its nature. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Christian, for sharing with us. And now I'm going to ask another question to both Bunty and Nicorin. Based on your testimonies and being that link with the community, if you could share with us one thing or a couple of things that you think that should change for the benefit of rangers, like sort of a wish list, what would it be? What would you tell the people that are listening that something that needs to change for the benefit of you could develop better your job? So maybe start with Nicorin and then Manti.
Okay, I'm really glad to come back again to share with you our expectations. Really, to feel like a ranger, I would love that there should be more and frequent capacity building workshops to drill us, the rangers, as far as our security is concerned, law enforcement, respect of human rights, and the respect of communities and their culture and tradition as it stands. It's really true. You meet people in their community, they have their lifestyles, you want to like change their lifestyle place. We know we really have a little experience, but the little we are putting in is trying to show up. Another domain we want to feel like rangers, because we consider that being a ranger is like a crime, as if you committed some sort of a crime. Who work in the other departments of the same ministry as us, they look at us as outcasts, forgotten children, abandoned children of the same father, which they don't know the secret in it. There is a lot of passion working as a ranger. Sitting there in the office will gain you nothing, but the more you go closer to the communities in the field, what you experience, nobody can ever take that off from you. Equally, being a ranger, I would like, I once thought of it, and it's a great opportunity to share, because when you look at our deplorable working conditions and the living conditions of the rangers, it really makes you feel like you are working under a spell. But so we try to manage things out and hoping that things will come for a better tomorrow. Like as we are talking at this moment, we just lowered one of us to his final resting place. A story that started a year ago when he went on a field patrol, came back, started having some malaise and so on, was complaining. But at the last moment that he had to take a brave decision of going to check on his health thoroughly, it was already like too late for him, because despite all the efforts put in, it's true the financial domain too was a big burden and was lacking. So finally he had to succumb to death. So he's been laid down today. That's why I'm really having a mixed feeling. We miss him a lot. And lastly, there is this idea that just came in. I just was inspired one day that can we not think of maybe in the sub-zones or worldwide, who knows, if in times to come, try to harmonize the working condition of rangers, so that whatever a ranger is living, whatever he is benefiting as motivation at this regional level, it should be almost the same thing, and maybe rangers like entirely apart, although they belong to a particular ministry or community that covers other the departments like transformation of wood, like exploitation of timber, wood, and the rest, administration and all whatnot. Why not think of the rangers in a particular world where out their activities entirely as conservationists, those who are out to protect nature and its resources, the wildlife, as we all know. So that's my little contribution I've got to give you this evening. Thank you. Hope to see you some other time.
Thank you so much, Nicorina. Now, we want to hear Bunty what he has to say about this, and maybe just say as well why you might like to be a ranger as well. You could share that with us. Why are you a ranger?
Um, Actually, the concept of ranger here in India is a bit different. They are government job and it's a type of employment. Unlike lifesaver course under graduate rangers from Africa in Chitwan National Park, Nepal. So the concept of ranger in India is it's a government officer and it is employment. It is employment. But then after attending World Ranger Congress in Nepal, Chitwan National Park, the I have a feeling that we need to involve all our community members. And as Chitwan Declaration, uh, indigenous ranger has to be organized so that the people of that area, particular area, who knows the every inches of the forest, the mountains, the rivers, they should be they should be made the guardian of that area. Until and unless they are involved, the people from plains and people from other area, they cannot control and they cannot conserve these animals. So I feel that we should involve more of the indigenous people, and but then they are not going to do it for a social service. But then as they are security, and by employing them and giving them a job and survival opportunity, we can gain much more result in days to come. As ranger, as I have spoken in the Chitwan, rangers are a universal soldiers. We are soldier and fighting in the same battleground, but from the different front around the world. We are fighting the same enemy, and we are the universal origin. So, indigenous rangers should be encouraged, and ORSA can help organize and creation of indigenous rangers in India, especially in Arunachal Pradesh, in the Himalayas, which is the one of the world's hotspot uh, in wildlife and biodiversity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Banti. I'm sorry, I need to. I think we need to close up, but thank you so much for sharing your last words and your testimony, and thank you for the three panelists for sharing your perspective. It's very enriching for the audience. And now I'll pass over to Olga so she can wrap up. But thanks again for sharing with us the trust to share your experiences as rangers.
Yeah, thanks, Monica, and thanks all the panelists. It was really interesting to learn again and again why we should support rangers, because they not only deserve more, rangers should be recognized by us all, by the governments, by the society, and by the business as those on the forefront of our fight for better future and for nature for us all. So how can you help? You would ask. If you're a ranger organization, you can join URSA and find more details on our website, ursaforrangers.org. And if you are a fan of rangers like I am, you can always spread the word, share news, and support your local ranger organization, become a ranger yourself, or make sure that all our efforts are met with proper recognition, especially from the government and from the business. So thank you for this amazing event, Joe, and thank you for your time. Thank you all for listening to us, and thank you, panelists, for joining us from different parts of the world. That was Olga from URSA, and I'm over to you, Joe.
All right, excellent. Well, Olga, thank you so much, and a huge thank you to the whole panel who joined us today, everybody from URSA. And you're right, it's strength is in numbers. So the more associations and organizations that come together, the more influence we'll be able to have globally to make sure that rangers get that equal say, and everybody's kind of has the same rights and assurances. So great to hear everybody sharing their input today, and thank you so much for joining us from URSA.
Thank you. Bye.